Spurs, even as a rival fan, I'm getting sick and tired of your shit. For about the 100th time this season, these guys are not able to see a win out. What is wrong with them? Get some control in your flipping team, for God's sakes, bro. And once again, it falls on Ange because he's the one telling these guys to let games be end-to-end for full 90 minutes, bro. You were leading that game for 87 minutes. There was no need for you to do that. Shout out to Wolves, and they definitely deserve something from this game, bro, because they played great today. First goal from Hee-chan was a great strike from outside the box after a little set-piece routine. Bentancur saw who scored and said, nah, I'm not letting that happen, bro, and he equalizes from a set-piece. Johnson on the stroke of half-time makes it 2-1 after great work from Kulusevski, and once again, the standout player for Spurs, bro. This guy has been Spurs' best player this season. But I'll tell you who's not been Spurs' best player. Heung-min Son, bro. This guy, I feel so bad for him. He doesn't deserve the season he's having. He's having a howler of a season. Before Johnson made it 2-1, Heung-min Son had the opportunity to make it 2-1 from a penalty, but he gets saved, unfortunately. It was a great save from Salman. Then Cunha, Wolves' best player this season, I think gets injured, gets taken off. Strand Larson comes on, and that guy has impressed me a lot. He is a proper number 9. He equalizes, and it was a beautiful strike from him, man. The ball from Aït-Nouri, and then the strike from near post, bro. That was Aguero-esque. Into the roof of the net, bro. It was a beautiful strike. Oh, and just a quick side note on Aït-Nouri. I mean, great assist for the second goal. He got 2 assists to his name today, but that guy's not left back. I'm sorry, bro. He might be the best left winger in this league. I'm not even kidding when I say that. Speaking of left backs, Udogie once again gets injured, and I feel bad for the kid, man. He's not had a break this season. He's been getting injured consistently. But Ange, one more thing. Stop forcing this guy to play out from the back, bro, because it is an absolute shit show to watch that, man. I feel sick through my screen. I'm not even a Spurs fan, bro.
Right, that's it. I've had enough. Get Ange Postecoglou out of my club right now. Is what I would say if I were one of those fans who, whenever the going got tough, I just demand another manager be sacked. Because the truth is, and a lot of fans won't like this, but the problems run a lot deeper. It's not just a scapegoat player's fault or Postecoglou's fault. And I'm not even going to single out Daniel Levy and ENIC as solely to blame for the mess that we're in right now, or the position that we're in, because this has been coming for a long time, 6 or 7 years or so. It hasn't happened overnight. It's just easy to blame Postecoglou right now. And of course, today wasn't good enough. Recently, it's been dire in terms of the form. And the truth is, I never expected to go into January thinking that, well, are we going to be in for a relegation battle or fight, at least a scrap, rather than be challenging for European spaces? And a lot hinges on January for Postecoglou, because as much as it's about the bigger picture, you can't ignore the smaller picture. And results, as I say, haven't been good enough. But you see, these problems, for me, stem back to 2017-18, when we never reinvested whilst we was at our best.
So it ends Wolves 2, Tottenham 2. And we weren't the best. We didn't play very well, but we get a point. And that's, realistically, if you're going to stay up, that's how you need to be. Spurs, on the other hand, Ange Postecoglou, his time's up. I'm afraid Spurs, the dream's over. I don't know if you'll sack him tonight or next week, but he will be sacked in the next few weeks. It hasn't worked out. You just need to admit it. And they will continue to be Spursy. It is in their DNA. You know, you're playing against 17th in the league, and let's be honest, a poor Wolves side this season. I know we've been good the last few games, but we are a poor side. You're 2-1 up. You know, you need a win because you're not winning, and you'll ball it. So let's be honest, a soft goal. Larson does well, but it's poor defending. It really is. And yeah, as for Wolves, it's an important point. Leicester lose, Southampton lose. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. However, Trent's just scored and it's just come up. I was listening to that, yeah, watching that. But yeah, good point. Aït-Nouri, incredible, man of the match for me. I wouldn't say it's been a particularly great game. A little bit nervous towards the end, holding to the point, but we got it done. And I would expect Ange to be sacked in the next few weeks, if you're a betting man.
Just got home from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's finished Tottenham 2, Wolves 2. Just another really, really disappointing afternoon. I don't think we were that bad. First half, I don't think we were terrible. Obviously went 1-0 down early, but then we equalised, within a few minutes. Son missed the penalty, but again, that didn't really matter because we scored a few minutes later. But, and even in the second half, Wolves, they really didn't do anything in that second half. It was a really good finish in the end. And, it's more drop points. The pressure is building game on game, game by game, I should say, on Postecoglou. Today, again, wasn't quite good enough. I thought Bentancur was really good in the midfield. I think that's what we've missed in the midfield the last few games. But, you know, he got booked as well in the last few minutes, which was very stupid. So that's now his 5th booking. So now he's suspended again for Newcastle. But look, I don't really know where we go from here. More drop points, like I said. The pressure, the pressure's building on Ange. He's under a lot of pressure now. But I don't really know where we go from here. Like I said, it was another really, really frustrating, disappointing performance.
Well, I just got back from the game. More drop points against Wolves at home today. Just honestly depressing. So depressing to watch us at the moment. I don't know why I bothered. I don't know why I bothered going. It's just it's a shambles. I mean, I guess you could look at it 1 point gained on relegation rivals, but that performance today just so pathetic. I mean, there are lots of individuals you could single out. You could point at Ange today. You could point at anything you want. But I mean, players like Radu Dragusin, I just don't see it. I do not see it with Dragusin at all. That back four, we had Sergi Reguilon coming on in the 60th minute. Destiny Udogie has now looked like he's picked up a hamstring injury, which just adds another one to that injury list, which is just ever growing week on week. It is a nightmare. It's a nightmare situation we are in, but that doesn't excuse some of the performances that I saw out there today. Pedro Porro just once again looking really, really lacklustre. Bissouma in the midfield just, so poor, hiding a lot of the time. Bentancur I thought was better. I thought obviously he scored the header today. I thought there were some challenges, but picked up a yellow card in the 94th minute of the game, which means he's now banned for the Newcastle game, which is just fantastic. I mean, Sonny in the front line, oh my God. I can't even talk about how bad Sonny's been recently. Dom Solanke and Dane Kulusevski, I think, can hold their heads high once again. I thought Dom Solanke was probably our best player on the pitch. I thought Dane Kulusevski was decent as well. Like, obviously had that assist for the second goal, but outside of that, struggled at times, but was still trying to make things happen. Brennan Johnson was okay as well, but I mean, just Timo Werner coming on to try and win us the game is just to try and change the game or whatever. Just Timo Werner, I can't even stand him. And look, Ange Postecoglou, of course, to blame as well. I've said multiple times during this run that Ange Postecoglou takes blame for a large part of it. I still would not sack him. I still just think there's much bigger issues at play here, and I think what does sacking him actually achieve? But for this recent run of results, maybe you could argue he deserves to be sacked, and if he was sacked tomorrow, it would not come as a surprise to anyone, I don't think, but I still want him to stay.
Oh my days. Well, that's my weekend ruined. Mate, our injury crisis right now is so bad that in 2025 nearly, we are seeing Reguilon and Werner on the same side. Of course, we know Sonny also missed a penalty, but we can't only put the blame on this. I mean, Sonny has missed one penalty within the last how many recent years. And look, fair enough, first goal, cool. Nothing really we could do about the goal because that went as bottom bins as it could possibly be. But I mean, the defending here, come on, you can't leave him that free like that. Today was one of them games where we had to look like a real threat. We had to get the 3 points today because, I mean, look at our next fixtures. Newcastle in the Premier League, Arsenal away. That is 2 absolutely tough fixtures that I doubt, if you can't even beat Wolves at home, I doubt we're going to get anything from that. And this is with all due respect to Wolves, yes, they have improved under the new manager, but realistically, especially on paper, Wolves at home, we should be beating them. Yes, they are a bogey team as well, etc. But come on. And it just kind of links back to the whole, mentality situation. We had no, we just weren't there to, hold on to the lead. Dropping points today wasn't the only issue. We got another issue as well. Udogie, another defender injured. When is this whole injury crisis thing going to end, man? But today, like I said, not good enough. Just a classic Tottenham performance towards the end.
Most painful bit right now for me is that Tottenham Hotspur have reached the worst place that you can reach as a football club within a project, and that is the point where it almost turns from anger and frustration to just pure boredom. I'm bored of it. I'm bored of hearing about us. I'm bored of talking about us. I'm bored about everything to do with us. It's reaching the point now where rival fans don't even really find it that enjoyable to take the piss out of Tottenham and Ange, because it's every week. It's a daily occurrence. I'm sure you still find some pleasure in there, Arsenal fans. I'm sure you do, absolutely, and I would if this was Arsenal. But it's almost like they just pity us now, which, again, is just the most horrible thing ever. It's also at the point now where, I was sat at the Wolves game today and I was just thinking, if we lose this, if we win it or lose it, what difference does it make? I mean, we're 11th. We're 5 points off 8th place Fulham. I mean, by the end of play tomorrow, Villa, Brighton, Brentford, Manchester United could all be just above us or clear of us. It's December and there doesn't really feel like much left to fight for this Premier League season. We're up against Liverpool in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, which just feels like a mountain too big for us to climb right now. In the Europa League, are we going to be able to win that? Maybe if we run deep into that competition, that could definitely bring some light back into this season, some hope back into this season, 100%. But in terms of the Premier League,
what are we fighting for, really? Even top four just looks like genuinely quite impossible at this stage. It's also now at the point with the manager where, yeah, I'm still Ange, but my God, has it been bad? And my God, does he need to improve quickly? Because the way that these results are going, it wouldn't be surprised if Ange was sacked. Like, it doesn't surprise me that people think Ange should go now, where beforehand I was vehemently defending him and really getting annoyed when people were saying that. But now it's like, well, yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from. Also, the circumstances around it, we've got one of the worst injury crises that I can remember my club having, especially defensively. It's just an absolute nightmare, and it's just like the whole thing, I just want it to end. It's like a nightmare that is not ending, and it's so boring. It's so boring.
Spurs ended the game yesterday with a left-hand side of Sergio Reguilon and Timo Werner. That just shows you the lack of quality in this squad right now and how badly we need January. Especially after another hamstring injury. Yet another hamstring injury. Yes, Ange Postecoglou's training methods have something to do with this. Yes, the fact that we've got a small squad is not helping, but come on. I've never known anything like this in my life. And I don't think I've seen a lower IQ left-hand side than these two. Look, Reguilon, I know people like to stick up for him and stuff like that. And to be fair, he's not played any football, so I can give Reguilon a pass for coming on in this game. And he wasn't awful. He wasn't awful at all, but he cannot play as like an inverted fullback. He's not very good on the ball. And then Timo Werner, the amount of times I've seen him do this. I mean, I knew the score when I watched the full game back because I couldn't watch it yesterday. And that still made my head hot. That still made my head hot. A lot of talk has happened about January over the course of the last 24 hours since the Wolves game. Postecoglou and Johan Lang are trying to make things happen quickly this week to bolster the Australian squad. We're looking at a new centre-back, a new left-back, a midfielder as well. I think you should probably add a goalkeeper to that, maybe a striker as well. Solanke is just getting run into the ground at the moment. But I think defensive reinforcements have to be the priority. We know we can still score goals. We know we can still look good going forward. But again, some of these forward players are getting run into the ground as well. Kulusevski looked knackered yesterday. Solanke, who I just mentioned, looked knackered as well. Dragusin, I just don't think is a good fit for this system, so we need another centre-back. We need another left-back to come in and play over Sergio Reguilon and play instead of Destiny Udogie, who's injured. It's just, I don't know. January is literally, 2 days away? But it can't come quickly enough, and we need to get business done early because we've got so many tough season-defining games in that run.
Here are 5 signings Tottenham have to make in January. 2 of these are Daniel Levy signings, okay? First of all, we've got Jack Grealish coming in on loan. He's not got a place at Man City right now, and I think we could really fucking do with him. We need experience on the left wing, and having Yang coming in and Mikey Moore trying to develop, we don't really want to block his path, which is why Jack Grealish is perfect. He's 29, he's only got a few years left, so loan him in. If he does well, buy him. My second signing is a marquee signing. It's Kirkes. He plays for Bournemouth. He's a left back. He's fucking rapid and class. Boscombe, back of the net, you know what I mean? We fucking need him. Bournemouth won't sell him, I imagine. Liverpool want him as well, so this one we're going to have to really break the bank for. My first Daniel Levy signing is just recalling Ashley Phillips. We need a fucking centre-back, and we've got Vuskovic coming in the summer, and Ashley Phillips, and Dorrington, so you don't really want to block their path by buying a proper another centre-back. So for me, just recall him, see what he can do. But the backup to that is getting Pascal from Leeds and letting Ben Davies go in the summer. If you don't know, he's 25, he's from the Netherlands, and he's literally a Ben Davies replacement. He can play left back, he can play left centre back, he's good on the ball and will always give you a 7 out of 10 performance. So he is the backup. But I think you look at him more in the summer, depending on how Ashley Phillips and Vuskovic look. Fourth signing is Cardosa. If you don't know, we've basically already bought him in the summer for 25 million. I don't see why we can't do this in January and get rid of fucking Basuma because he's shit. We need a proper number 6, and he is it. And the last signing is another Daniel Levy signing. It's bringing Keeley back. I know he plays for Leighton Orient, which is a lot of steps below the Premier League, but Fraser Forster is shit. We might as well give him some experience because he looks fucking good. So I'd rather just risk him in the Premier League, see what happens, then play Fraser Forster. The other option is James Trafford, but similar to the centre-backs, I don't want to block this kid's path because he looks amazing, and when Vicario's back, he won't get a lot of game time anyway, so I would bring him back. Well, those are my 5 signings. Agree or disagree with them. We've got Kirkeres, Cardosa, Grealish as the 3 main ones, and then we've got Ashley Phillips and Keeley bringing back, or Pascal if you want him, because I think he is quite decent.
Even though we've just drawn 2-2 at home to Wolves, I'm genuinely not disappointed with our performance, as much as I probably should be considering they are in a relegation fight. We are as well, to be honest with you, but I don't think it was actually that bad. Going forward, I thought we were really, really good today. I thought Kulusevski and Brennan Johnson were absolutely fantastic today. The last 15 minutes, we looked absolutely shattered. I will be completely honest and say that. Did Wolves deserve a point? Probably, especially in that last 15 minutes. I thought they were really, really good. They took advantage of us being tired. It was just a mess. Heung-min Son was absolutely diabolical today. The missed penalty, I won't lie, I won 25 quid. I bet £5 for him to miss the penalty, and he missed. But he just did not look confident. He does these round the corner passes. He's done them all year. I don't think one's come off all year. He's just not been on it all year. It's just more apparent now that we need to get a Son replacement in ASAP. And Destiny Doggy's done his hamstring as well. And we saw Sergio Reguilon for half an hour, which for the record is half an hour too long. He's so bad. He's so bad. And having a left-hand side of him and Timo Werner in 2024 is... I can't say what I think it is.
Tottenham Hotspur have drawn 2-2 with Wolves. Heung-min Son has missed the penalty. And somehow, in the 87th minute, Strand Larsen has got the equaliser. Tottenham, you need to look at yourself and think, how does this keep happening to us? The defence stinks. Generally, at this point, go to the academy, go to the under-21s, get a defender from them. Be like, yo, we need a defender. Come on. We need a backup goalkeeper. Come through. Forster is terrible. Archie Gray, he's not supposed to be playing there. Dragon Shin is bang average. Your right back, Pedro Porro, ain't good enough. Udogi ain't good enough. You got Jed Spence, who got suspended. Brother, Tottenham are in a crisis right now at the back. Because attacking-wise, they can get the goals in. But defensively, they can't keep them out. And I love it. Tottenham, you are cooked. Ange is so under pressure right now. But how long would the excuse last? I ain't got my main defence and my goalkeeper. Because that is not a very good excuse right now. You need to have a squad. Lock in. Because right now, you're about to get locked out. Hey, Tottenham, I love the downfall.
Finished Tottenham 2, Wolves 2. Where do you begin with that one? Now, firstly, it wasn't good enough. Secondly, Wolves were more than worthy for that equalising goal. So you've got to say fair play to them for continuing till the death. From a Tottenham perspective, I just never felt that we had anything really to offer in that second half that we could change a gear. And you can make all the excuses in the world, but ultimately, against Wolves, despite them beating Leicester, beating United, Wolves at home is a game you've got to win in the position that we're in right now. Do you fancy us against Newcastle? And then we go into the Carabao Cup first leg. It's not a good sign, but for me, as I say, I just never felt confident that fans will say, our problem is we try to go for it too much and get 3, get 4, get 5. Why can't we just sit back? And I think you see there that even in allowing Wolves to come onto us, the inevitable still happens. The trouble with watching Tottenham at the moment is we do very much look exhausted. And I look at some of the goals we score and the goals across the season, and Bentancur's header was good. But I look at other teams when they attack us and they overload the fullback areas, they outnumber us, they get forwards quickly, they just wait for Tottenham to make a mistake. And I kind of, when I see us go forward, I feel like it's just become all too predictable, and we are heavily reliant on, for example, that kind of typical goal, Johnson finding space in the area to knock home a first-time finish. I just never felt in that game, for me personally, we really truly looked dangerous. Maybe a side of Kulusevski round in a goalkeeper.
I don't really understand Tottenham fans at the moment. At the beginning of the season, it was Ange Postecoglou's fault, apparently, and now all of a sudden, every fan seems to be blaming Daniel Levy. It's like every time they lose now, all I see is get Daniel Levy out of the club, like he's impacting what is happening on the pitch. You can have your opinions on him as an owner altogether, but the current form that Tottenham are in has nothing to do with him. Because last season, fans were quite happy with the direction Spurs were going in under Ange Postecoglou. And in the summer, they sold 50 million worth of players and they signed 150 million worth of players. In the season before, when Ange came in, they sold Harry Kane, obviously, but they really had to. They still had a net spend of 150 million, signing Pedro Porro, Van der Ven, Kulusevski, Maddison, Vicario. The season before that, another net spend of 140 million. This whole narrative that he doesn't back the manager ever is just a complete lie. Yeah, overall he doesn't spend what Chelsea spend and United and City and even Arsenal in recent years, but those clubs also get hammered for spending that much. Now, I'm not saying it's 100% Postecoglou's fault, because I understand the injuries they've got, the 2 centre-backs and the keeper especially. If you look at Heung-min Son, for example, he's just massively dropped off this season. So he needs to prove, Postecoglou needs to get more out of him. Look at Udogie and Pedro Porro, who was so influential to how Spurs played last season, nowhere near the same level. And then James Maddison, who I think's been one of Spurs' better attackers this season, yet he keeps starting on the bench. And fans are having a go at him for having a life outside of football. And then on top of that, you still got Ange's naivety and stubbornness as a manager who's more focused on playing exciting football rather than managing a game and getting results. There are many reasons why Spurs are in this period right now, but the players and the manager have a lot more to answer for than Daniel Levy.
I'm bored. I'm tired of having the same conversations after every single game. I'm tired of watching Tottenham Hotspur. I'm tired of watching this tired group of players. And until we get players through the door in January, nothing is going to improve. I think Seb summed it up pretty well in a video that he did after the game yesterday, saying that we have just reached that stage at the moment in this project that it is just boring. It is just kind of boring. We're kind of just going through the motions as a fan base, going through the motions as players as well. Everybody is just feeling tired. I caught up with the game. I was at the darts last night, so I couldn't actually go to the game yesterday. And thankfully, I didn't, because it didn't sound like I missed too much. And when I watched the highlights back and when I watched the full game back as well this morning, we were okay. We were okay, all right? Wolves were good value for a point, I thought. They started the better team, scored a brilliant goal. I thought we did well to respond, even though that first half was a tough watch. I think we kind of struggled through it. Scored 2 good goals, headed from a corner, and then Johnson's goal, well worked. But it was a struggle. But we had enough chances to win the game. Does that mean we deserved it? No, probably not. You think a Sarr's header at the end of the game should have done better with that. You think of Solanke and Bentancur running into each other. There's not much Ange can do about that. I know that would have been offside anyway in that first half, but yeah, Wolves were value for a point. And it's just getting even more miserable, and I'm feeling even more detached from Spurs at the moment, I'll be honest. It's a struggle. It is a struggle watching us. It's a struggle just going through the motions. We know what the issues are. We know the manager has issues. He's not blameless in all of this whatsoever. But we are so thin on the ground right now, and a lot of these players have been run into the ground. Solanke, I thought, was absolutely excellent yesterday, but he's going to get injured soon. And we don't have a backup striker. Kulusevski, playing too much football, looked absolutely knackered out on his feet yesterday. Did so well for that second goal to create that chance for Johnson. So much for we've got our Tottenham back, eh? It's just really a struggle at the moment. It's a struggle to try and convince people that Ange is the right man. That's why I've kind of stopped doing that. I still believe that he can be successful here. He needs backing. We need a big January. But January is always hard to get those players through the door. But with another injury yesterday, we need to do something. We need to do something. We need to do it quickly.